What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And this week, as we've discussed, this week has been it's been an interesting week. We have got some major selling today. We kind of saw that last minute yesterday, and that power hour became a flush. Today we got the relief bounce. What does tomorrow bring? Tomorrow, we're going to get a lot of data. Tomorrow, we're also going to get FOMC meeting minutes at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Thursday, we have Thanksgiving, so no market, and then a half a day on Friday. So, with that being said, there will not be a video on Thursday night. It will just be after this video. Will just be essentially the weekly update, which will come on typically Saturday mornings when I put that out. Try to include some other videos, instructional videos aside from that. Before then, since there won't be a lot of videos coming up in the next couple days. Hoping everybody enjoys the holiday. But now that that's out of the way, tomorrow is going to be very, very low volume. Yes, low volume typically brings a lot of stocks to shoot up, but this hasn't been your typical market. And we've seen that technicals do not play out. The market just goes up. But today it sold off quite a bit. We had a lot of stuff come down really into really great support. It depends what's going to happen here. I think actually, just looking at the SPY, we are consolidating nicely. Even though this came close down to the 20 EMA on the daily, I think we can still possibly touch that tomorrow. I'm kind of looking to see if this touches tomorrow, and then see if it pumps back, or maybe we start pumping back tomorrow, back to all-time highs. Maybe that was enough of a dip. It was a very good dip, considering this market. That was a good dip. But still be mindful. We still have this parabolic move here, consolidation, but earnings is over. So we did get this pullback here before earnings run up. Then we got a massive about 2 weeks. And then now we're back to this consolidation. Now, typically, the nice thing about the market is you don't see real bleeding until it starts consolidating. Unless you were here and you lived through the pandemic and you were in the market at the start of the pandemic, that was just a full-on crash. That doesn't happen very often. Aside from that, the market will consolidate like this, and then it will kind of give you red flags, and then it will start selling. This is why we have these supports, the 20. If it does break the 20, I would start, I wouldn't panic just yet. Just know that it is going to sell more. And we'll come down to at least the 50 and tag the 50 on the daily before we reverse. From that point, it could get rejected by the 20, then come back down and blow through the 50. But so far, this market is extremely bullish. I am very bullish, but being said, you still have to take it day by day. Today was a good example that it keeps a lot of people in check, that you can't just keep buying the dip. Because of the fact that you can get wrecked if you are not aware of events that are coming up, and realize that volume doesn't always mean pushing up. You have to take it day by day. This is why pre-market is so important in understanding what is going on, reading the market, this is why price action is so important, because if you can see weakness in price action, if you're able to read price action, you can see the weakness before a lot of people others see the weakness in the markets. Because being said, yes, option flow and all that stuff is great, but one thing in my experience is option flow works to an extent, but you have to also understand, if you are not reading price action, it doesn't matter what is coming through on a flow. Price action is going to tell you a different thing. And I've seen plenty of times where overflow is essentially pointed that particular stock, people are loading up, and the next thing you know, that stock slams down, 5% because of a news event or because of something else. This is why it's important to be well-rounded as a trader and not just a technical trader. Fundamentals matter. You need to know events that are going on because it solves from a lot of pain. Being said, so that's the market in general tomorrow. I think, again, it's 50-50. We very well could start popping tomorrow, but because of low volume, because of market closed on Thursday and half day on Friday, I think we're either going to be flat or sell a little bit more. I don't think there's going to be any major movement. To be honest, I think you're going to get your spike in the morning, and then it's going to be pretty much dead for the rest of the day. At least that is what my plan is. For Bitcoin updates, Bitcoin in itself still looking good. Like I said, it could still come all the way down to, I could give it down to the 50, maybe into the high 40s before it reverses up. Again, another parabolic move, and people think it's going to crash. It hasn't even come back and retested any old supports. Anything about stock market analysis, it has to come back. When it breaks through resistance, it needs to come back and test it as a floor. If that does not work, right, you're not going to get bigger, more bullish moves to the upside. So we are still seeing steady. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we do sell off a little bit more, although I don't think that's going to be the case. I think a lot of things, including the market itself, is setting up for a bigger bullish run coming into December and then going very strong in January and February before correcting. Not saying that the correction can come sooner, because it very well can, just depending what's going on. Again, we have debt ceiling talks here in 3 weeks, just around the corner on the 15th of December. So being said, the market will potentially sell off for that as well. So you have to be mindful of that. So we're going to probably get a week of running and then possibly stalling, selling more again. Again, setting up, because we have to set up every time in between earnings. The market sets up, and if you've been in the market long enough, this is essentially what the market does. After earnings, it will sell off, and then it will find a base, and then it will start running again. So after earnings, a lot of your big players, like I rotate out of a lot of my favorite stocks, because after earnings, it starts going to some low cap stuff. Like right now, I'm playing a lot of random stuff I don't typically play, but then I jump back into my bread and butter when earnings come back around. But you need that sell off. You need stuff to liquidate a little bit more. Need money to shift around, get into the other smaller cap, mid cap stocks, and then shift back into big tech. But we have to see what goes on moving forward day by day. So being said, tomorrow, again, looking at FANG, Tesla had some great moves. If you're an intraday trader, this volatility is awesome. I didn't actually short Tesla. I did catch a couple of these bounces. I caught the bounce down here twice. What else did I play today? I played SPX puts, and I played, trying to remember what else I played. I don't recall what I played, but nonetheless, Tesla EVs were very strong today. I expect the strength in energy to be up again tomorrow. Stay with the sectors that have the strength. Don't try to navigate out of that, especially with the way the market's navigating. If you can pick up on which sector has strength and stay with that, that definitely helps a ton on your trades, especially if you're intraday trading or looking for longer swings or overnight swings. Especially in this volatile market, you don't want to swing for too long unless you're really at a base. And right now, stuff is so high, it's kind of hard to do that. So, but Tesla bounced perfectly off the daily 20. If it does break through this, again, we're looking at the 950 mark for our next level. But for some other stocks, I am looking for tomorrow. Facebook, again, always one of them. It's been actually holding very well. I don't like this chop. When it comes to volatility like this, I like to stay with Tesla because it has bigger moves. I wait for support. But Facebook, like I said, you want to stay with EVs, I think, right now. Google tried to make a bounce today. Again, there's a lot of chop on the way up. So that's what I'm saying in the morning. Like, you get good moves in the morning, and then it just kind of chops all day. But you really don't want to play, especially because these ranges are so tight. If you're sitting in options, they get chopped up pretty good. Roblox just kind of dying out. This is one I just wanted to let die out. If it hits that 104 mark, that would be good for a good bounce. Aside from that, not really watching that too much. One thing to watch tomorrow is strength in e-commerce. I think e-commerce could have a run tomorrow. might be one of the ones. If the market does start running, I think e-commerce is going to be one of the first ones to start. Amazon actually looks like it just broke, so this actually might be a red break tomorrow. Shop, same thing. Looks like the same setup. Could very well break and run tomorrow. It depends what happens overnight. But things to keep an eye on. Affirm, UPST, I'm kind of just waiting on those. I think those are essentially waiting for the whole market to turn. As far as chips, very well, NVIDIA could be another great play tomorrow. Chips could be another one that run with e-commerce. Might be e-commerce chips and EVs tomorrow is what I think I'm going to be focusing on. Airbnb needs to sell off more. I know right now it's kind of, I think this kind of move was all in anticipation of coming back. But ultimately, that COVID scare kind of really just made it sell off again. So I'm kind of just waiting to see where this thing bases out. One I do want to pick up. It might start basing here around 169. I also got the 200 daily support. That's essentially where I like to start loading. So wait for that 169. If it does hold there, we could take a position and wait. Just make sure your stop is tight on that one. OIH, I actually got in this position today. Oil, with everything that's going on with oil right now, I think you're going to get a good move in oil. There's been a lot of essentially bickering going on what's on oil reserves and everything like that. So being said, I think there's going to be some parabolic moves in this, driving the price up with different random threats that are going on and everything with oil pricing. Being said, I don't typically, it's been a long time since I really traded oil. I'm sure there's more people out there that can probably talk more in depth about oil, but oil is definitely one I used to play a couple of years back, quite a bit actually, but now not so much. More with the growth and beta stocks at this point. But one position I do, so I am in shares in this. I'm essentially riding this up. I feel this is getting kind of looking for that parabolic move. If I get that parabolic move, I might get out from that point and then shift it back over into growth. But right now, I wanted to have some piece of oil moving forward anyway, at least going into the holidays. GME, nice pop. This was one of the ones I was playing this morning. I caught this nice pop, and then it just sold off. It did base right here. One thing to keep in mind, too, is with mem stocks, you know the market's going to crash when mem stocks give out. If GME or AMC give out, then you should be worried. Right now, yeah, it sold a lot today. A lot of stuff sold today. But you have to also realize that it is end of year. That's one thing to keep in mind too, is there's going to be a lot of money that's transferred out, tax purposes, whatever the case is. So you have to realize that, yes, it's a month out, but people start doing it early. They don't wait until a week or 2 weeks out. They start pulling money out now before the holidays. And so that's what you're typically seeing, especially right this week. That's why we had some major selling today. And then one last one I do want to bring up is SoFi. I really like where SoFi is sitting on the 200 on the daily. It is sitting in a nice support here as well. As far as the zone, I don't have the zone really marked out here, but there's a nice zone here. As long as it doesn't break this 1750 mark, I think we can get at least a nice pop back and retest of possibly that 19, even 20 mark, really that 50. We're looking to bounce off this and at least hit the 50. That's normally almost a guaranteed move in the stock markets. If it does hold the 200 or retest the 50, typically you'll get a major rejection off of that, and then it will look to try to break it again. Normally that's when you get the reversal and break up. If not, if it does sell back off, you start looking for basing at that point. But SoFi is one I do like. It has been heavily being sold, so you might want to wait until it starts consolidating. But if you're looking for first bounce, you might get actually a really good bounce tomorrow. And so that's why I want to put SoFi on the radar tomorrow to see where that goes. Again, all depends. There's volume. It may not move at all like it would the normal way it would move. Because of the fact that there's low volume and that money might be allocated towards FANG. It's typically where it goes, especially when you got something like Tesla that's just selling off. dramatically. Normally, my test with Tesla is always that if it sells off heavily, you're always going to get almost a second. You're almost guaranteed a second leg down. On that second leg down on Tesla is when you get into calls. You don't get in that first leg unless you're going to be in and out and just playing that bounce. Because it's going to bounce and you think it's reversing and then it's going to switch back up on you. It's going to go for another major leg down. You have to be careful. Watch for that second leg. Second leg is typically when you enter. At least that's the way the market is playing out currently. So being said, again, short week. There won't be any other videos for the remainder of the week. There'll be a weekly update on Saturday. Aside from that, just be safe. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. And if you've made it this far, drop a very thankful thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Till next time, we'll see you guys later.